DNA and genealogy, it's all over. TV commercials, the internet, print media, and of course, genealogy TV shows. Using DNA for family research might be the biggest innovation in genealogy since someone discovered a descendant chart etched on a cave wall in southern Europe. So, what is it about DNA that has genealogists salivating? And I mean that literally. There are plenty of websites and tutorials on the basics of DNA. What we're going to attempt here is to present the points we think a genealogist should know about using DNA to help with their research without the science. As far back as the 1960s, you might have heard about DNA testing for paternity testing. The 1980s saw the advent of DNA as evidence in criminal trials. General public awareness might be traced to the O.J. Simpson trial in 1995, where we learned how DNA could be used or how it could be corrupted. But now, everyone is familiar with DNA from watching any of the countless versions of CSI or Law and Order. Genealogists should be aware of 3 different DNA tests. Each can be used to answer different questions: Y-DNA, mitochondrial DNA, and autosomal DNA. Here is a bare-bones description of each and why it can be important for a genealogist. The Y chromosome passes only from a male to a male, father to son, then a son to his son, and on and on. Although mutations may occur on estimate every 500 generations, the chromosome passes virtually unchanged through the generations, and therefore it can shed light on your paternal deep ancestry. If there are mutations, they can be helpful in identifying specific branches in a family tree. Y-DNA testing will give you an idea as to how your paternal ancestors migrated out of Africa to wherever current populations of similar matches are found. Mitochondrial DNA is passed down from a mother to her children, sons and daughters, and then from her daughters to their children, and on and on. Although mutations may take place very slowly over thousands of years, mitochondrial DNA passes virtually unchanged through the generations and therefore can shed light on your maternal deep ancestry. When mutations build up, specific female lines will have sequences distinguishable from other lines, which can also be helpful in identifying specific branches in a family tree. Mitochondrial DNA testing will give you an idea as to how your maternal ancestors migrated out of Africa to wherever current populations of similar matches are found. And finally, autosomal DNA. Autosomal DNA testing can help you confidently find all kinds of relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, cousins removed, etc., up to 5 generations ago. This is done by finding matches between all your chromosomes and all chromosomes of other tested individuals. This is the test that has recently been promoted heavily. It can be used by men and women, and since it matches all chromosomes, it can return numerous connections. At this time, there are 4 major companies offering the 3 tests we've described for genealogical purposes. Each may offer some individual twists and tools to try to differentiate their products and services. In alphabetical order, the companies are 23andMe, Ancestry, Family Tree DNA, and MyHeritage. You can visit each of their websites to see what they offer. Each website also has tutorials where you can get more detailed background information on DNA testing. Do a Google search to find plenty of sites that compare all the vendors to each other. JGSLI does not make any recommendations since your goals may differ and the landscape of offerings is changing so quickly. The most recognized non-commercial site is the International Society of Genetic Genealogy wiki page. This is an excellent source for educational material and new articles. As we all know, the larger the number of records in a database, the higher the probability of finding useful data. This holds true for finding relevant matches in a DNA database. Researchers should consider the population of data in a vendor's database to determine where they think they might get the most relevant matches. You should not only consider vendors with the greatest number of records, but it might be more important to see if you could determine which vendor has the most records for a specific ancestry. For example, if I thought I had mostly Jewish ancestry, I would want to find the vendor with a significant number of records from others that were tested with Jewish ancestry. To that end, some of the vendors provide for a mechanism to download raw data and accept uploads from other vendors, thereby providing the opportunity to match individuals tested by other vendors. In addition, GEDmatch is a central database and analysis site where researchers from many different vendors can upload their data to take advantage of greater number of possible matches. Of course, not all researchers investigate their ancestry any further than geographical or ethnic history, but as a knowledgeable researcher, I'm sure you'll want to take advantage of all ancestry-related data. When you run an autosomal DNA test, you may come up with hundreds or thousands of cousins. Now what? Well, believe it or not, it still comes down to old-fashioned traditional research. When viewing your matches, the first thing you would want to do is look for surnames and towns that match. These matches would definitely be worth further investigation. All vendors should provide a way for you to correspond with other researchers to try to determine whether your family trees intersect. Another very useful strategy for finding relevant matches is to try to get others you know are family members to take the autosomal DNA test. For example, suppose I have a second cousin that I could get to take the test. As second cousins, we would share a certain percentage of common genetic markers. Knowing that my cousin and I are definitely related, I can now compare a third researcher that came up in my matches and see if they not only match me, but my cousin as well. If they match both of us, I'd feel pretty confident that they were part of our family. Then I would go back to traditional research to figure out how. One word of caution on that long list of possible matches, though. Theoretically, each of us have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so on. Why do I say theoretically? Well, if you carry the math out and go back about 30 generations to the year 1000, we would each have approximately 1 billion ancestors. Impressive, but impossible. In the year 1000, the Earth's population was estimated to be between 250 and 350 million. So where did all your ancestors come from? The answer is endogamy. Endogamy is the intermarrying of people within a small community. This could be due to religious or cultural reasons, like Ashkenazi Jews, or geographical isolation, island or tribal limitations. In these cases, there's a limited pool of founder ancestors, so everyone is related at some level. DNA analysis can be an extremely powerful tool to help researchers break down brick walls. It provides the possibility of helping adoptees find birth parents, connecting half-siblings, and reuniting families where names have been changed or traditional documents don't exist. However, it's still just a tool, and to feel comfortable a connection has been made, we must also use the fundamental research methods and tools we've always used. This has been another helpful video from the Jewish Genealogy Society of Long Island. Please visit our website at www.jgsli.org for more information on our monthly speakers, beginners workshop, and other projects and resources. And visit our Facebook page where you can take part in conversations with experienced researchers. Whether you're on Long Island or an out-of-towner, we'd love to hear from you. Good luck with your research.